Hi, thank you for tuning in today and welcome to the today session. Today we're going to talk about something very interesting um, on how we have to plan for our future and what is the importance and why it is important. There are some things and then what can we do uh, to help and then why we had to do that in order for us to see uh, progressing much further than what we think we are doing and which of the current reality where you are in. Now, thinking ahead of the time is always the key factor in everyone's life. There's one interesting example I wanted to give you is that there was one public meeting where Jeff Bezos, who is the founder of Amazon, who had mentioned that when everyone is talking about, the this year quarter results of the finances, he was already planning at least 2 to 3 years ahead of the time. So when someone is telling that this year, first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter results, he was actually not thinking about them because this one he thought about it and then planned it and then given a roadmap for his team to follow much like 2 to 3 years back. So he was not really focusing on day-to-day actions and how he needs to run the business. He was already planning ahead of the time. So thinking ahead goes a long way in our lives. So suppose most of the time when we look at in our life present circumstances and scenarios, uh, you know we tend to go deep dive when things don't go the way we expect it should go. Now, if you have a good job and your monthly expenses are taken care, and then you don't need to worry about so much, which is, like painful decisions, which is happening in terms of health, wealth, and prosperity. So, if it is a smooth road, you're not really uh, planning ahead of the time, or maybe you're not really thinking to see what more you need to develop and how you need to see yourself, and then there is no proper goals or anything that you're going to plan for the future. But whenever you have a difficulties in your life, be it in your that any finances that you're struggling to get by your monthly expenses and then planning for the next month and the next month, or in terms of health, whatever the causes you might be having. So if you have a lot of downtime, so that is sometimes, most of the time, or most of us, that is the only time that we always review what is happening in your life and then where do we stand and what do we need to plan for the future. But if you have a straight road and there is no issues, no concerns, and pretty much you're going to be like a laid back guy and you're not thinking too much into the future. I'm not saying that, thinking too much into the future, because I always believed and then I always stressed and living in present moment is most important thing, because this is the present moment is what matters. But each and everything what you do in a present matter is giving you better results for the future. So thinking ahead of the time is critically as important as living in a present moment and doing in order to reach there. So thinking ahead of a time is very important, and most importantly, you need to ask some questions on how life works for you, or else how you want it to work for you. So one is to understanding how life works for you as we speak, and how you wanted to see it would work for you, or how you wanted to see for the future should work for you. Is it the same level you were expecting, or you wanted to see a little bit of rise in your standards, or it could be you wanted to do some meaningful activities, or it could be some contributions you wanted to do for your friends, families, or the community, or something you loved, so on and so forth. So it's always figuring it out. How is it now, and then what do you want to see for the future? Again, thinking ahead of the time. Now, expanding your knowledge and awareness is most an important critical thing. And I'm sure that you're going to listen to the thing what I always used to say, but now I'm going to give you some specifics on how only you have to experience that. So expanding your knowledge and awareness is very important. We are all built up with a lot of belief system based on how we grow in our how we grown up from the childhood till about this age, wherever you are in. This is all, whatever the actions you take, whatever the actions you don't take, is basically based on the belief system what you have in your system. What you currently know basically is based on either you how you had believed, or someone told you, or some authority told you that that's the way it should work. But then your belief system always can be changed by expanding your awareness. It could be, again, I'm getting back to the reading to the books, getting you to know the life stories of the different people and how they did what they did, and then what beliefs they had, and then how did they change it, and how far they achieved. See, most importantly, you read a book, only those guys are who is successful. Why do we do that? Because we are expecting some inputs from that particular lady or gentleman. That experience can help us to put those things in practice for us to do better. Have you ever read a book, those who failed 100 times? Other than that, the quotes what we have, that Thomas Edison failed uh, many times, and then before he invented the bulb. But have you ever read that if I release a book that these are the 100 failures I had in my life, I don't think that that would sell a single copy. At the same time, if a one billionaire just gives you basic things of what he did for how he has to succeed, or how he succeeded financially, I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to buy and read the book just to understand what are these insights. And this is what actually the books does. Now, each and every book what you read this is something that I really wanted to stress. I might read a book and I can pick up a couple of points which can connect to my life based on my experiences, and then that's how I will get inspired to do some take actions. Things what inspired me to take an action because of reading a certain book might not help you to do the same thing if I exactly tell if I exactly tell you those points which connected me. That might not affect you a big way, because maybe your personal experiences are different than my personal experiences. So at the same time, if you're reading the same book one time, maybe you pick up only 1 or 2 points that can connect you. But there are times you read like a couple of times, maybe 1, 2, 3 times, maybe fourth time you read the same book which you read 4 times, maybe there is some important insight you're going to pick it up which it did not connect you in the first instance, the second instance, or the third instance. So it's very important, because all these books can help you is to connect your life experience to the particular person who is telling you their experiences, and then to take some positive actions. Maybe you can read 20 books, maybe there's nothing that you can learn. Maybe you can read one book and you can pick 10 things up. It's based on actually what kind of situations you're in and how it can help you to grow, and how you can connect your life to the person or experiences which you're going through, be it in spirituality books, or be it in enlightenment books, or success principles, or business related, self-help, or terms of happiness, or relationships. There are so many books available in terms of many categories, and there are some specific books I liked it, but then I'm not saying that I read an entire book. If you Google it, or if you look at it in a Kindle, there are millions and millions of books in each and every category. But then, how do you pick the right book? Sometimes it just comes to you through the references. It's always the same thing, that when you're ready to receive something, you're going to get some hunches or some messages, maybe through a friend. Someone is going to tell you, hey, this is a nice book, have you read it? This is how you're going to get it. But then you're not going to read 1 million books in your lifetime. If you're a ferocious reader, maybe you're already in a right track. I'm not talking about the traditional education what we had, but then this education in a real life is very essential for us to think ahead. And most importantly, what these books can do is increase your belief, for you to take more and better actions, for you to see progress. But at the also same time, that this I had mentioned already, your mind can connect you differently, and these experiences and then how you're going to act is what makes a lot of difference. the way you approach would be different than the way I approach if something connects me. So it's all individual experiences. So I sincerely request, if you say it's a habit, if you read it 10 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day, doesn't matter, at least have practice. Like the same thing, how we brush our teeth every day and how we shave, if you're working in a professional environment, and then it's become a daily habit for me that I shave every day, brush every day, take shower every day. So you can add this as your daily routine, be it in the morning, afternoon, or night, whenever you get some time. Make it a point that 10-15 minutes you're going to spend something to read. Imagine, at least if you can read 10 books a year, that on an average you're talking about a 1 month a book of 150 to 160 pages. And if you pick the right books, and in whichever the area of interest you may be in, that can help you to change your beliefs, simultaneously taking some more actions. And then one interesting book can connect you to another interesting book, another one, another. That's how you will increase your awareness. And more importantly, if you start even today, and at least 2 to 3 years down the line, that will be part of your daily routine. You don't want to stop doing that, because that became your habit, and that's how you do it. And then you're going to pick up, and then on the process you might, in this entire process, if you manage to read a couple of good books, like say 10-20 good books which can touch you and which can inspire you to take some action, that changes everything which we're talking about, thinking ahead of the time. So with that, I would like to leave you. I would like to uh, thank you for going through this, and my sincere request is for you to build a habit of reading a book 10 to 15 minutes a day, and then have this process. At least you don't need to wait for the new year resolutions to do this. You can start any day and then see how it helps you. Just by reading today 10 minutes is not going to help you, unless until you build that as a habit. So with that note, I would like to leave you today, and I sincerely hope I would like to see you becoming a better person by taking more awareness, by picking up the right books. If you really um, like reading, and then if you wanted to know some interesting books that I can recommend, there are some good books I really follow on a self-help, and I can recommend you to read, and which is available pretty much most of the time. EPUBs, or you just need to refer through it. There are most of the time online free books available, but then if you pick the right book, and it will definitely help you to increase your awareness. Stay blessed. If you're really interested, please leave your comments and thoughts, and I'll be more than happy to share the books I read, and which can help you to build your life positively. Stay blessed, be good to good, influence the people around you positively. Thank you so much.